At least
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Alright, we got a copy of the agenda. Any changes from anybody? I have one to add. Kristen McCann from she's working with the commissioners on their HR issues, job descriptions, and all that stuff. So, and Teresa, and we're going to go ahead and move them up because they're both pressed for time. So, whenever you're ready.
Okay, awesome. Get this fancy little cord.
It's resting.
I was told that one, yeah, better.
Yeah. It takes it a while sometimes.
It is fine. So first, let me introduce myself. I am Darren did a little bit. Kristen McCann. I am working with the commissioners on reviewing the policy handbook, which I have. It's going to be evolved into a manual and making a separate employee handbook. Also, that's much easier to read and cleaning up some policies, adding some policies, updating things. But through discussions, also with job descriptions and other things, one of the things that was brought up was processes and flow and how things are currently being handled for human resource needs for the county. And so through that discussion, we kind of talked about maybe there needs to be some looking into what possibly could help better the county. Before I really kind of dive in too deep, I want to first explain one thing is, yeah, I am a consultant with the commissioners and such, but when it comes to looking at the human resource management systems, I'm not connected to any of these companies. I am not a stakeholder in any of this, but I have a lot of background in implementation of HR systems because I have well over 2 decades in doing so. So that's why I'm kind of speaking of this, and it's not anything that, I guess you could say I don't have any skin in the game in a way, in one way. So currently why this is really needed is things are primarily done paper. They are done through Excel sheets and just there isn't good flow. There isn't good accuracy and checks and balances. So time collection can easily be inconsistent. Payroll requires a lot of due diligence on your payroll persons. And I'm sure others could speak, if Kim was here, she could very much speak to that too. So records retrieval is obviously going to be much slower because you have to find the papers. Supervisors, they really are not getting live results for information about their employees. So they have to dig through things and find it. Sorry, skipped ahead one. So what would an HRMS change? Ultimately, it's going to change the future state workflow for everybody. So when an employee clocks in, when an employee needs to request a leave or a form or benefit change, it then goes to the supervisor for approvals and exceptions, and then it flows to the HR in a digital file. So the record can be categorized and processed properly, which then can flow to payroll for anything that would affect payroll. And it can be validated, and the earnings and trackings of times and vacations and everything is all tied into one system. And ultimately, it creates a audit trail that makes things much more streamlined. It's going to really improve, and I'm going to kind of show some of what the conservative, I'd say, figures could be as to how much time is currently being spent. So a very conservative rough guesstimate is how much time, I guesstimate about 1,100 hours in a year, that is being spent just on all the additional paper, the number crunching, that's additional work for just HR and payroll, which could be around $40,000 just in that process. Supervisor's time, I'd say a pretty low count of 780 just on all the extra processing that they have to do through the manual process of papers and Excel sheets, and then you've got the paper and the printing and the storage and everything. Long story short, it's not a line item on your budget, but this is what it's roughly costing. Close to, very conservative, I'd say close to $85,000. And none of these tools are going to cost that much. So continuing to break this down a little bit better, paper processes, they do increase liability. And just some of the examples up there of where this can happen, your wage and hour tracking records, your IRS employment taxes, validation of the I-9s, EEOC and public employer records. But ultimately, you know, there are things that are really missing in your process that could really improve on the flow for the employees. It improves the happiness and time, I think, also, because your employees can be more self-serve, self-direct, and being able to do this. But bottom line, an HRMS is not going to eliminate the legal obligations. I mean, it's not a foolproof thing. We're all human, but it's really going to make it a lot easier if things come up, and you can properly document things. You can show reports. You can offer better defense because you have it all in one system. So the day-to-day benefit is, yes, it's going to benefit your HR and your payroll people a great deal, because they're not going to be constantly doing manual entry. That payroll corrections and the auditing trail for payroll is going to be, I'm sure, a lot faster than what is currently happening. And it just is going to have more accuracy to it. You're going to be able to search things easier. Things are going to be cleaner for onboarding employees because these systems tie all of that in together. Supervisors can route things, move things to HR, give responses to employees in a faster time, see what leave balances are before they approve time off. Employees are able to really have things at their fingertips. They don't have to search as much. The forms are there. They already know what their time is. They don't have to go and ask anybody. It's all right in front of them. Onboarding can be very quick. You can have it set up for different departments, even how they want to onboard. They can hit one thing and it sends everything to the person right ahead of time. You're not having to print and give people stacks of paper. Leadership is going to give you guys better reporting and auditing abilities. What does it cost? I know that is always a big factor. Now, I have not personally contacted any of these companies, because first step is communicating. So commissioners talked with them, this discussion's happened, I'm bringing it to you guys so you guys can think about this process. Hey, this might be something that'd be beneficial. And then it's just really knowing what the county needs, and then contacting people. So these numbers here are basic market costs. They are not direct quotes of any kind. But so some of these, yeah, you see the numbers, they can cost quite a bit, but as I showed in a previous figure, all of them are less than what you're pretty much spending currently every year. So
Christy,
yeah,
you mean when you say spending, you mean the kind of time value of
it's a
employees.
time
We're not
value.
actually spending
Yeah.
that money, it's just their time value of.
Yeah, it's not a line item,
Okay.
where this would be a line item, 100%, yeah. So roughly those like 1,800 hours I said earlier, plus the cost of paper and stuff, that was about $85,000. That was, I'm sure, a very low number. So thank you, that's a good question. So the recommendation really at this point is to bring this to you guys to consider just allowing for the process to get more information. That's all I'm asking. It's not committing to anything. It is One, I validate truly what all these different departments need. Ask supervisors, ask department heads, ask payroll, ask HR, what do they really need in a system? Then, once I have all of that, go to about 3 or more vendors and ask them, here is what this county needs. What can you provide? How much will it cost? And start gathering that information. And then just really seeing if any of them are a good fit. Again, no commitments of any kind. It's just gathering information and seeing what it would cost, seeing how much it would take for implementation. I have done implementations for organizations that went from paper to digital. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it and say it's not pain-free. It's painful. That's a lot of work because you're going from paper to digital. It's time-consuming, but it will greatly benefit you in the long run. And then 4th is coming back to the council with a recommendation after knowing what everybody needs, what these organizations can offer, and give a solid quote, because I will have talked with them directly. So really what I'm not asking for a commitment to buy anything. My goal is to basically find a best option fit for Brown County, for your HR needs and your payroll, to streamline things, to make it much more efficient for your employees, your supervisors, your leadership, and your HR. And I think in the long run, this is going to make things smoother for your employees. I'm sure there will, I would never guarantee there won't be hiccups. There won't be some people that will be upset with change. Change is hard. But I think in the long run, this is actually going to decrease possible liabilities, and it's going to speed up a lot of processes for many, many people. Yeah.
Do you have any opportunity for experiences from other counties?
Have I contacted other?
Can we get some other counties who've used it to see what their practical experience is?
Yes, absolutely. And especially with some of the companies, I'd like to hear what some of them utilize. I've listed the most popular ones. UKG is probably the most popular one. They've bought out a lot of other HRMS companies. They're very large and such. And then there's one that are very specific to public sector, which I added on here, but they're very expensive, and they're much larger public sectors utilize them a little more. Yeah.
Are you a private consultant, and if what's in it for you? What's in this for you? Why are you here?
I am only here because I'm working with the commissioners on other HR
But are you
needs.
hired by the commissioners
Yes.
as a consultant?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. So this is, I'm not tied to any of these companies
Okay.
or anything. I don't have any stake in any of these, so.
She's been hired by the commissioners to redo job descriptions, the policy
manual.
Underlying HR issues within the county related to employees. Kind of not counter to, but in addition to working with what we have worked with WIS on and are going to work with WIS in the future. All of this ties together. She's doing one part of it, and then and then the other.
So she's recently been hired as a consultant.
Yeah, how long ago did you guys? 2 months, 3 months ago?
About 3 months, yeah. Yeah.
And I'm part of the PAC, and we have been discussing this type of thing for months. And so it's been in discussion a lot with the Personal Advisory Committee, but just now has brought forth to us, this process, this part of it, as to something that we can look into that possibly could help streamline things. And I want to add that when I used to do a lot of what she's talking about, and just the time sheets, the vacation time, any of the personal time off, sick time, all that is huge amount of time, depending on the number of employees you have.
Yeah, I've done with these systems too. That's the reason I'm asking that.
Yes, I can't imagine being in payroll and having to look at 180. So
That's how many we have.
roughly.
And it's, this has come up as some of the discussions like we've been having with Ed on internal controls. This goes to, efficiency of the county, internal controls, the way we operate, and this is a part of it that's come up through our working with going over our employee policy and handbook and things that she's found that have been needing attention in the county for
Time and attendance.
decades. And yeah, this is an integral part of it. This kind of goes to part of your concern, Jim, with efficiency and payroll and what our employees are doing and how they're spending their
Are we
time.
paying WIS? Because didn't we pay last year WIS to do the job descriptions?
No,
It was
job descriptions.
24.
And then why do I have a whole file folder on my desktop at work that has all brand new job descriptions?
They did them in 24, Jim.
No, they didn't. They did them in 25.
We implemented them in 25, we did them in
We
24.
paid out, what, $100,000 in WIS files?
No, they didn't do job descriptions.
We did not do
So
job
let me just
descriptions
ask,
last
I mean,
year.
So-
are you doing job descriptions? Is that?
I'm reviewing some
Right.
of them that are problematic. And
So we have two
That's most of
consultants.
it.
We got this person here, plus we got WIS is what we're doing.
WIS sent out the questionnaires for the employees to fill out for the job descriptions. I guess I'm unclear about why she's working on job descriptions too. But,
And I might have misstated, I misstated.
Totally misstated, because
Yeah,
now
yeah.
they're off on a
yeah,
totally
but
different.
anyway,
Correct
she,
correct me early when I do that.
but what I am familiar with is her HR parts of it.
That's what I meant,
What I
yeah,
am
the
familiar
HR.
with, and the policy and that kind of thing.
All right, well, let's clear that up.
My focus is
If
mostly the
we
handbook.
misunderstood something about job descriptions, can you clear that up now?
Yeah,
My main focus is on the policy manual and the handbook that I'm working on currently. There are a few job descriptions that we are cleaning up because there were some inaccuracies that Teresa and I are working on those. But majority of my work is for the manual and the handbook. And then also as an advisory person, so when there is issues or concerns, that is part of my scope as well, is the advisory component. And in the future, some training components, so.
That's great.
That's okay.
So do you operate off of billable hours? Are you billable hours? Or
I am-
What's your contract, your compensation? Explain your compensation and
Yeah.
what the cost is, if you would, please.
Yeah, so for the policy manual, the policy review, and the creation of the new handbook, that is project-based fee. So I determine the hours, I set a fixed amount, and I send a quote to them, all the steps, including all the changes, even training of all the
Okay,
changes.
what is your contract state? So did we sign a fixed amount, and what
The
is that dollar
commissioners
amount?
did sign
What
a
is the dollar
contract.
amount? How much?
So I have an hourly rate of 180, and then I have a project-based rate based on the project.
What was the total, your estimated project cost?
For the manual
Yeah.
itself, the
That's what
creation
you
of
just
that
said
is
you were-
around 8,400. I don't have it right in front of me, but I think it's around 8,400.
Okay, so for your focus, your primary focus is to work on the employee policy handbook.
Mhm.
And the total cost for that is estimated to be $8,400
Mhm.
at $180 an hour.
No, 8,400, that's a project-based fee for that particular item that I'm working on.
100,000?
No.
No, 8,400.
8,400.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm getting confused, so bear with me. $8,400 for you to go in and review and make recommended changes on the employee policy handbook.
And deliver.
And deliver it, and do it. So I'm rewriting it
And then
too.
anything above and beyond that, or outside the
No.
scope of that, there's a
No.
$180 fee?
No, that is a project base just for that. Now, when I come and do advisory work, like the meetings, when I'm working on job description or there's a FMLA or whatever,
And that's what I
that is
just,
an
that's what I
hourly.
just said. You have a project of $8,400. Anything outside the scope of that project is a $180 billable hour.
I'm sorry, if you were saying about the manual outside that scope.
No.
No, you're correct.
Right.
Yes.
Okay, that's what I thought, okay.
Could you go back to the savings slide and then the cost of the new software slide, just to,
So this is a savings slide, so the cost, this is a very rough conservative guess of the number of hours put into a dollar for payroll and HR, and then for the supervisors, hours and cost estimate. And then an estimate of probably what you spend, paper, printing, storage, and everything. This is probably much lower than what the actual is. I didn't have purview to those figures, what people get paid and how many hours. We didn't do a time study or anything like that. So this is why I'm saying it's a conservative guesstimation of how many hours are probably spent, which if you add that together is almost $85,000. Now, based on market value for these systems, that's how I came up with those numbers. So you can't see the numbers very well. They're kind of way down here, but this green line right here, that's showing pretty much what you're spending on that almost 85,000. That 4 of these aren't even hitting the green line. Now, NeoGov, yes, they're very expensive. They are the public sector one I was referring to. But back to your other question of what does it cost?
So
These are
just-
market,
just real quick, I mean, again, we're not, I mean, I guess we are paying employees to do that work,
right?
but it's a fixed cost. And so
Right.
the spending count kind of, I just want the council to be clear, but
Mhm.
what we will be spending is actually what you're showing us. That's a new spend,
It will be a line item.
and
And it will stop the vacation overspend, it will stop because this is a time and attendance issue that we know we have because of the paper. This is what Julie's done with the research. Her company's actually up there. I think it's the last blue one there. They don't actually provide everything that we would need for Lao to perform, so that one had a few holes in it. But
just let me finish. So we had the current spend, and then I guess that doesn't include the time. So if we're spending, if you go back to this, because it's not like these programs require 0 time to implement.
Oh, implementation has a cost.
But
yes.
also, you still have to do payroll, you still have to
Right.
review the numbers. So
Mhm.
are you saying the 84,000, so have you done that comparison, like, because it's not a 0 time to do the payroll.
Right.
What would our cost be to do the payroll under these new programs?
I'd have to have much better figures of how much it
yeah, we
costs
haven't even started
currently.
any of that.
This is
I just
at the
wanted to be-
very preliminary
Well,
stage.
Yeah.
But I think it would be more accurate to say,
Yeah.
there is a spend to still do payroll and enter the time and review that.
No, this would upload into it, Scott. This would,
It's
right now,
tied in.
she is manually entering a lot of this. This would eliminate that.
So this is only the manual labor part that will be, I don't think you're saying this will be completely eliminated. Is that correct?
They still need to audit the payroll. But it's going to be through a report. The time systems and everything is all in the system.
So-
Where currently, she manually has to go through an Excel sheet. That's a
No, I
lot of
understand
time, yeah.
I think what you're saying is it's more efficient. It's not that it's 0 cost under the new system. It's just going to be more efficient.
Yes.
And we don't know what that savings of time will be, it sounds like.
It's really kind of hard.
So does that efficiency also enable the amount of employees needed to do this? So where's our savings at? If we're not reducing any employees, any positions, and we're increasing the cost to get the same job done under the premise of it's more efficient, where is the efficiency savings for us to do this? To justify the amount of money that we're going to spend?
One thing is your payroll person is not going to be spending all their time doing payroll, which they do a lot, I'm sure. Again, I don't have hard numbers of how much time that she currently is, but you need to say so.
Yeah, I do. I want to say something. We're going on 6 o'clock. I think we're above and beyond the whole purpose of you coming here this evening, I believe is what's going on here for a moment. So I think, you tell me, is that you already have an agreement with the commissioners
Right.
for $8,400 to work on the employee handbook.
Correct.
Okay. What we're talking about here is you're floating the idea. Actually, this isn't really our decision, it's the commissioners. Hopefully the commissioners have enough money in the budget to where you don't have to come back to us for an additional appropriation to cover your $180 an hour billable hour. But basically what I take is you're saying, hey, here's this system. Julie Reeves has kind of has initiated this because we have issues with tracking time for employees of when they come to work, when they leave, so on and so forth. So this system would certainly, hopefully, address that issue. Okay, so all you're doing here this evening is saying, hey, look, this is what we're doing. This is information only. We really don't have a decision in this tonight, correct? Am I correct?
It's more or less informing and
Thank
getting
you.
your blessing.
Okay, so, well, I mean, you guys got to do what you got to do. We don't really have any say on it, so.
We didn't want to come to you and say, hey, we're really
doing
want
this.
to.
Well, I appreciate that, because what I really don't want you to do is to roll in here in October and go, hey, we're gonna do this, and you guys need to come up with another 110 grand.
And I
for the
gotta
system.
tell you, as
So,
an
okay.
employee who has had this time and attendance come back and screw with my budget personally, I mean, if we would have had a solid time and attendance, then what happened to me wouldn't have happened.
Yeah, no, I get the time and attendance, because
I mean,
that was a couple of years ago. That's
Right,
been
and now
two-
it's costing me
right,
$10,000.
okay. So what I'd like to do, thank you very much for coming in, and, do what you guys gotta do, and
Well, I appreciate you asking good
and
questions.
commissioners, don't come and ask for anything for her.
Julie,
Down.
the right stuff, is that the Lao-based bolt-on that you referred
It can go with Lao, it works with Lao.
I thought it wasn't compatible.
Excuse me?
I thought it wasn't compatible. I thought it.
No, Right Stuff is compatible with Lao.
Thank you.
Question. Teresa, are you implying that we have inefficiencies in the system where we may overpay people? So we may actually have some hard money saved there. Okay, it's maybe time we moved into the current century.
And get out of the 80s.
And it also is, well, some of the systems, I can't speak on all of them, but it's when you log into work and when you leave work and that type of thing as well, correct? It's
like
Yeah.
time clock?
time clock,
Time system, yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. I only have 15 minutes, so can I go?
Yeah.
Is it my turn? Okay. Okay, so we did the additional appropriation request for the server environment. We did a notice in the paper, which I think, do they have that? I gave you the information in the thing, so just, do you need questions, or is this approved? Do I say, please
That's
vote?
the 12,400.
It's 11,510.
I see 12,400 on
Yeah,
here,
but
but
12.4 was appropriated for it, and what they don't use, they're not, it's just, it's,
well, let's just give them what you need.
Yeah, because I already have 6,000 in my budget, so I only needed 11,510.
I'm prepared to make a motion.
Well, wait a minute. Okay, is this, all we're doing, is this just a transfer, or is this an additional appropriation?
No, it's gonna have to come out of the cash balance.
No, this
in
is
that
an
fund.
additional because this is,
It's an additional appropriation coming out of the general fund.
yes.
Yes.
Okay, so we should have an ordinance to be able to pass this.
You do.
Okay, so Mr. President, if you would read the ordinance, and then we can take a vote on the ordinance and get this, okay?
yes. A summary, this is what Eric from IT talked to us about at our work session meeting, where they have the Broadcom VMware that was originally costing us $5,128.32. This year, it has been bumped to $17,510.40, the 241% increase. And they pretty much got us by the short hairs because we'd have to completely change the
Right, but
system.
you have an ordinance from Susan Beavers.
Yes.
correct?
This is, it also contains, an additional appropriation, which is really a transfer. What we did, okay, this is.
You have
Slow
two
down.
ordinances there.
Right. Council Bill number 4, which is, okay, thank you, Tracy, for the video. Okay, what we have is Council Bill number 4. We talked about this. This is to cover, when we paid the outstanding invoices for WIS, it was 30.
Okay, first of all, the WIS, the 22 grand for the commissioners is a transfer.
Right.
And all we're doing is transfer money out of our line item, which we had 130 grand in there. I made the motion at the last meeting okay? And all we're doing, that's a transfer.
Yes.
All right, so we do not need an ordinance just to do a transfer. That would, if you want to
Depending
do.
Hold
on,
on.
you do depending on what it's coming out of and going into.
Well, that's what,
Okay, so, but.
let me explain.
Well, time out.
Okay.
Okay. I do not have a copy. Do you have the actual ordinance that we need to make a motion and vote on this evening?
Yes.
Yes, I will read that and then.
Okay. I did not get a copy of that ordinance, and I'm not quite sure why I go. I brought it up several times and it falls on deaf ears. Now, if all we're voting on this evening is that $22,000 transfer out of our budget into the commissioner's budget to cover the WIS and to give them an extra 10 grand going forward is basically what we're doing, all right? And then secondly, all we're doing is covering the IT, increase in IT costs,
Yes, that's correct.
which that is an additional appropriation, whereas the commissioner's thing's not. Is that basically what that ordinance says?
Yes.
And that's it? That's all that's in that ordinance? Okay.
Could I, just on Jim's point, I mean, I do think, and this has been somewhat of a confusion point for I think the whole council really, is we get these ordinances, but there's only one copy. And even as vice president sitting beside, usually it was Gary, I was always trying to read what we were about to do, because, and I think we each probably.
It was emailed out.
I knew about it.
I don't think I did either, but I think, and typically we don't, and so, but I think we need to change that policy to Jim's point, but we can see it, and at least.
Look, and I'm not, I don't mean to appear to be adversarial, but this is a boundary for me. I'm not gonna tolerate it. I'm tired of this, okay? I know there is, for example, I got ready to leave my office at 4:30 to drive over here for this appointment, okay? And I think it was probably 4:15, and lo and behold, from Susan Beavers, I get an ordinance on the stipends issue. Okay, at 4:15, the meeting's at 5:30. So I've not had, this is a 5-page document. I've had no time whatsoever to go through it, read it, and try to comprehend it, what's in it. So we've got this. I don't think this is on the agenda tonight.
It is not.
That's good, okay, yeah, because we can maybe do this special session in May if we want to pass it, at that special session. But, Mr. President, I would strongly, I'm just going to say this. Going forward, if I don't, I ought to have these ordinances at least 7 business days prior to the meeting. I don't think that's unreasonable.
No, I mean, it's not new information. It's what we talked about in a.
I
printed mine off at home.
I didn't get a copy.
I printed mine.
I didn't
email
get
at home.
what you have there. I don't have, okay, the only thing I got is what Susan Beavers shipped out this afternoon at 4:15 on this stipend issue.
Which I haven't seen that yet this afternoon.
Right, and so what I'm asking is that, any ordinance or any resolution for that matter, the board, the council board ought to receive that at least 7 business days prior to the meeting when it's going to be discussed and voted on. I don't see how that is unreasonable.
No, it's not.
I mean, okay, because to me, ethically, we're getting in an issue of asking me to pass something that I've not read. And how can I pass something that I've not read and I don't even know what's in it?
Well, that we're not even.
Yeah, okay, good. So, all right, yeah, this one, as long as I can trust that all the thing that's in it is the 22K and the money for the operating system for IT, then, okay, we talked about that when we beat that to death. That's easy. So I'll make a motion that we pass that ordinance and
Second.
there.
Well, I still want to read it.
Read it, get it done, and move on.
Jeff, that's my copy that I printed out. You can-
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Council Bill number 4, ordinance number 2026-04-20-000. An ordinance for the reduction of appropriation from the general fund budget for the county of Brown, Indiana. Now be it ordained by the Council of Brown County, Indiana, Section 1, that the expenses for the county government and its institutions for the year ending December 31st, 2026, the following sums of money are hereby ordered reduced from the appropriation as originally set out from the year 2026, all subject to the laws of the state of Indiana governing the same. Section 2, that for said fiscal period of 2026, there's hereby reduced from the general fund budget of Brown County, Indiana, the following. The county council budget, Fund 1000.3030.061, financial services in the amount of $22,000. Section 3, this ordinance shall be in effect in full force from and after its passages, all as law provided, adopted by the county council this day, 2026. What this does, this is a reduction of our financial consultants line in the county council of $22,000. So we're taking $22,000 out of our county council financial consultants budget, putting it back in to the general fund. And then Council Bill 5, the appropriation, then is appropriating that back to the commissioners.
Yeah, so what I learned right here is Julie Reeves. I was thinking that we could go from the 3,300 line item out of council and just whip it over into the commissioners, but you can't.
You can't.
You gotta pull the line item money out of ours, pop it back into the general fund, and then do an additional appropriation
That's
out of the
correct.
general fund. Got it, now I understand what we got, thank you.
That's
We're
correct.
writing a check back to the bank so the bank can get a check to the commissioners.
Got it.
Okay, Council Bill number 5, additional appropriation ordinance 2026-04-20-001. Whereas it has been determined that there is not necessary to appropriate more money than was appropriated in the annual budget, now therefore, Section 1 be it resolved by the County Council of Brown County, Indiana, for the expenses of the taxing unit for the following additional sums of money are hereby appropriated out of the funds named and for the purposes specified, subject to the laws governing the same.
Darren? If you're looking for a motion on that, I'd like to motion the 11.5 number, not the 12.4. So either you want to do that
Okay,
after?
yeah, I'll do it after, if you want to get that motion. We can adjust what we approve. General fund, 1,000 from 30,000 other services and charges, advertised amount of 22,000. That is the additional appropriation to the commissioners. Total general fund, 1,000, appropriation of 22,000. That is the total. You see that on there? That's all through. Which consists of commissioners, 1,035,000.0068 professional services of $22,000. And then additionally from the CUMCAP Development Fund, 1138, 30,000 other services and charges advertised for the 12,400. That is the total from the CUMCAP Development Fund, which consists of IT 1138.31440.0000, IT virtual solution total 1,400, adopted by council on this day of 2026. And then for the additional appropriation, this is the first of two readings. Correct.
I don't think
if you all agree, I don't believe you have to have a second reading.
You got a first and a second, let's just take a vote.
Okay. I'm gonna pop in here real fast, right? You have a motion and a second on Council Bill number 4, which is your reduction of appropriation, but you do not have a vote on that yet. It's an ordinance. It requires 2 votes. So, and then we'll move to Council Bill number 5, your additional appropriation, which is again an ordinance. It does require 2 votes, but there's statutory language that does not require us to be unanimous on the additional appropriation to have 2 votes at the same meeting. Okay?
Okay, but for Council Bill number 4, we do have to be unanimous?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so we have a motion and a second.
Go ahead.
Who made the motion?
I did.
Jim, Scott seconded.
Scott seconded for the reduction of 22,000. Council Bill number 4. Any other comments? All in favor?
Roll call vote.
We'll do a voice and then roll call. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Roll call.
Darren,
Yes.
Judy,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Gary,
Yes?
Patrick,
Yes.
Joel.
He's absent.
Is he online now?
No.
Okay. Jim Kemp,
Yes.
Okay, yeah, motion to, looking now for a motion to suspend the rules requiring a second read.
I'll motion to suspend the rules that require a second reading.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right, we have our second reading of ordinance number 2026-04-20-000. Council Bill number 4, an ordinance for the reduction of appropriations from the general fund budget to the county of Brown, Indiana. I'm looking for a motion.
Want a motion for Bill 5 or?
No, it's another,
Second reading.
it's the second vote for it.
Go ahead.
Yeah, motion to
Prove it.
approve it.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any comments? Anybody? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Roll call.
Darren,
Yes.
Judy,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Gary,
Aye.
Patrick,
Yes.
Joel's not here, Jim,
Yes.
Okay. Our $22,000 has now gone back into the general fund to be appropriated to the commissioners. Okay, add a reading on Council Bill number 5, which is the additional appropriation of $22,000 from other services and charges to Commissioners' professional services of $22,000, and from QCAP Development Fund 1138, 30,000 other services and charges, 12,400 to IT Virtual Solutions for 12,400.
Darren, we already passed the 22 grand.
Yeah.
All we're
The 20
doing, this is just.
No, we reduced our budget by that. We, council, gave the check back to the bank. Now we're voting for the bank to give the check
Okay, we
to.
put the money back in the general fund is the correct language.
Right.
Okay, and then now we're
No, we're giving it to the commissioners.
Now we're giving it
22 to the commissioners, and did Scott say 11.5, not 12.4?
That's his motion.
Or go ahead, you want a motion then?
Yes.
Jim?
I
Waiting
can't.
for a motion.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, I'm going to motion that we approve, what's this, ordinance number 5?
Bill number 5.
Bill number 5.
Bill number 5, that we fund $22,000 to the commissioners, and that we fund the IT department, which is actually in the commissioner's budget, $11,500 for the operating system.
Second.
All right.
I believe she said
Motion is second.
$11,510.
Okay. Would you amend your motion?
$11,510.
Second.
And 13 cents.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor. I'm assuming we're with disregarding the 13 cents.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Roll call.
Darren,
Yes.
Judy,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Gary,
Yes.
Patrick,
Yes.
Jim.
Yes.
All right, we are looking for
I'm done with
a
that.
motion to suspend the rules for the second reading.
Motion to suspend the rules for second reading.
Okay.
We have a motion, second, all in favor?
Did you
Aye.
have a second reading for this one?
Yeah.
Even though it was. Okay. I thought there was an appropriation in there, but I agree they didn't have to. Okay.
All opposed, or any opposed? No. All right. Now looking for a,
She has to do the roll call thing.
no, not for the second, not for suspension. Now looking for a motion to approve the second reading of additional appropriation ordinance 2026-04-20001. An additional appropriation of $22,000 and $11,510. Looking for that motion.
Okay, I'll make the motion. I thought we just did that, but anyway.
It's a second reading, or second
Second
vote. Second
I'm
reading.
sorry, I'll motion that we approve the 22K and $11,510.
Second, anyone?
Second.
All right, second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Roll call.
Darren,
Yes.
Judy,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Gary,
Yes.
Patrick,
Yes.
Jim.
Yes.
Well, that was easy.
It was.
Let me go back to the
Peter Boa.
agenda. What's it?
Do your Peter Boa.
Yeah, I know. We have to, I skipped over the minutes.
Oh.
We have the minutes from March 16, 2016, our regular session. Has everybody had a chance to read the minutes?
Yes.
And I'm looking for a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I'll second.
Motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right, we have a Peter Boa appointment. From John Aaron Harris.
That's me.
Yep.
I guess I'm not normally at this meeting according to other people, but I just thought I'd be here in case you had any questions and also to say thank you for all that you do for our county.
Yeah,
wondered why you were
as
here.
as an appointment to a board, we like to meet people and talk to them and just get a brief summary and an introduction.
Yep.
So,
So my brief introduction is in your letter there. I'm Aaron Paris. I go by Aaron, which is my middle name, and I'm the owner of Sweetwater Realty in Brown County and Cordery and Sweetwater Lakes. My family has been coming to Brown County as owners of property in Brown County since I was 12. So it's been a few decades now since that time has occurred. I've owned Sweetwater Realty for over 12 years and love the area that we live and want to do my part to give back.
Can you tell me what Peter Boa stands for?
That's a really good question. It's Board of Appeals is the last part, but I don't know what, I think it's the Parent Teacher Association. Yeah, that's the first part.
Close enough.
Property Tax Assessment Board of Appeals.
Yes, there you go.
Property tax assessment board.
Mhm.
I've known Aaron for years. I'll testify to his character.
Yeah, but then, what about yours?
Maybe I shouldn't do that, Aaron.
Yeah, all good, all good. I appreciate
Just
that.
compromised you.
I know, we get rolled on sometimes.
Spoiled it.
All right, well, I'll make a motion that we appoint this individual to Peter Boa, Property Tax Board of
Property Tax
Appeals.
Assessment Board of Appeals.
Yeah.
All right, we have a motion, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? You want a roll call on that?
Darren,
Yes.
Judy,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Gary,
Yes.
Patrick,
Yes.
and Jim.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations and condolences. What's your name again, please? Auditor, do we have any update on the salary ordinance?
We do not.
Okay.
Other than I'm gonna have to change it again since I have someone leaving.
Well, and then there may be some changes based on the job description amendments.
Maybe.
So,
Once they're done.
Are those gonna be for this year, or are they gonna be going forward for next year?
I will have to ask about that.
I was assuming that would be for next year going forward.
Yeah, I'm not positive on that.
Okay. And just to clarify that, most of that is state and federal compliance with regulations, correct, Tim? Because there were a couple things that were concerning.
I'm not really sure which job descriptions we're working on.
Yeah,
at the moment,
it
so.
wasn't much, it was tweaking, there was some language that needed to be clarified for federal and state regulations.
That
That's
much I
all,
knew.
that's all that was. So, I kind of, I guess misspoke, and I apologize for that. Our budget timeline, I handed you all a piece of paper that came out from Sandy at the beginning of the meeting. And it was something she finalized before this meeting. Just had it. Yeah. So,
I presume this is being handed out to department heads?
It will go out with the budgets.
is it the budget guidance?
yes.
Yeah.
Everybody get a chance to look that over?
Yeah, do you need to look at it?
No. I'm not.
And Julie, this is from you and
And the dates in July may change, depending on how quickly I can get all the budgets in. They're supposed to be in by July the 1st, that doesn't necessarily mean they will be.
So you're talking about the review dates of the 14th, 15th, and 16th may be pushed back. So this right now is a tentative schedule for you.
That those
See how
dates
that
are
works
tentative.
with, see how
I
that
would
works
like
based
for
on-
those days to be the days, but I cannot, it'll be based on whether they get their budgets to me on time.
Okay. Has everybody had a chance to look at their schedules for the 14th, 15th,
Julie,
16th?
if the past is any indication of the future, the 14th and 15th and 16th of July is basically unrealistic.
Can be,
You know, based, if the past is any indication of the future,
true. It would be unrealistic.
then those dates are unrealistic.
Usually we do it in
Right.
August.
Right, and the other thing I'm gonna just go on the record is, I don't know, it's, you know, there's what's called the assumption clause. Okay, and it appears someone has taken the liberty to put in a 3% COLA in this document that's been sent out to all the departments.
Yep.
So, you know, I'm gonna take that as what we're doing is using the assumption clause, council. And everybody's gonna assume that they're gonna get 3% cost of living because it was in this document, and that's how they're gonna interpret that.
Right, because we haven't discussed it.
No, we don't have a clue, not a clue, so, you know,
Plus, we still have to take into
So it just,
consideration.
it says we are wishing for that. It doesn't
that
say.
is an
us.
assumption
Yeah.
clause.
assuming
It
there is
leaves
no budget
everyone
estimates.
under the assumption that they're
I
gonna
mean, it
get
could be
a
removed, but it's
3%
not a
cuts.
big
Well, to me, you know, y'all can do, you're the board, you do what you want. I have a problem with it.
Well, that's why we're discussing it.
Plus, we still need to discuss our WIS matrix and how we're gonna bring all that up. We haven't done that yet.
Right.
Because we know if we just continue to do that, we're gonna come together again. So we have got to sit down with WIS and we've got to discuss this as soon as possible, in my opinion.
Gary?
When do you intend on sending this out? Soon, I presume?
Yes.
Okay, you might just put a generic and say cost of living will be determined.
We're just gonna remove
I'm
the
going
whole,
to take
the whole
everything
thing.
out of it.
Okay.
I'll just have 2 points instead of that one.
Yeah. We'll just-
Is being
Just
reviewed
remove the
by
whole
the
thing.
council.
Because probably what we're gonna have is not, we're definitely not gonna have a 3% across the board increase. Because as we have discussed, there are some jobs
That's right.
that are compensated currently above the line
Exactly.
of what.
Yeah, and that's what I'm gonna say that
Those jobs will not be getting a 3% increase because as you said, any increase for some jobs are to catch up to that, to bring everybody in line with the FES system.
Okay, Darren?
Yeah.
At a previous special session meeting, I sat in that meeting and we discussed the salary ordinance at that meeting, Scott, if you'll remember that. And during that meeting, I walked out of the meeting having an understanding of the rationale about how we arrived at a total dollar amount. But I did not walk out of that meeting understanding specifically what job positions in what departments and how many positions that equaled that total dollar amount that I was given. And not only did I not know that, but I didn't know, okay, here, I have all the documentation on the 2025 labor cost. But I did not know the distinction between what that position was in 2025, how much that increase was for 2026. What I do know is, because you gave me the number, it's like 300 grand or something, and I don't have it in front of me. So I knew the total dollar amount. And, my concern with this, because when I brought up the issue with the job descriptions with this consultant person, is that WIS had to go through every position and job description, because I have every job description on my desktop in a file folder for all the employees, because WIS had to go through the job descriptions to be able to determine what the factor evaluation classification was going to be. Because they couldn't do that classification with FES until they understood that job description. Now, if some of those job descriptions are wrong and they're overclassified, therefore that employee's getting more money, then clearly we got to get that cleaned up. And I think that's, one of the issues. But the big issue is going to be if, to get to that 15% midpoint, which is what FES, or not FES, but what, Wagner, Irwin, and Sheila had recommended. I personally have no idea of how much that's going to cost. Total, is it 800,000? Is it $1 million a year in additional labor costs? I don't know. And furthermore, do I not only know that, but I don't know what fund. Clearly if it's highway department, then it's coming out of the highway department funding, right? But most of our departments are coming out of that general fund. And so we don't have the headroom in there to take a big giant hit. We just don't have it. So, the challenge with this going forward is real simple, is how the heck do you pay for it?
So what would you like for me to put in here? Because there is going to be questions on.
On what?
On the salaries.
To be determined.
Okay.
Because we don't know. We've got to look at it.
Well, I want to add too, WISP, that was they said 50, but as a number of times we said, we don't know if we can afford that.
Yeah, which I don't think we can.
And that's why we have to,
Right.
know that and that's why we did the 1/3 or how much it was. We know that we're going to have to take baby steps over a period of time.
Correct. Right.
I think we initially started
And the
out-
challenge with that gets into this of having very, very, accurate numbers. When everybody wants to language this as a budget, but to me, it's a forecast. And so we're having a forecast into the future of what our revenues are going to be and what the expenses are going to be. And the challenge with forecasts is if you get it wrong, you can get yourself in trouble. And so for us to be able to address this factor evaluation system, we've got to have some solid, accurate forecast of revenue sources. And then we're going to have to look at it and say, what is it for 27, 28, 29, 30, right? But then the challenge is then, we've got, right now, I don't know what employees we've already bumped their income for 26. right? Because they've got to be kind of taken out and set off to the side, if you will. And then who's left? And then the other issue is that what happens if we have specific departments, which, you know, I know, I don't bring it up, but we've got departments that they, in order to be competitive, we may, you know, I don't know where those wages are in relation to that 50% number that WIS has given us. It could be possible that we could have departments that actually need more than what that 50% external number is. I don't know.
And they
So,
told us they would work with us on that. We just have to get together and
yeah,
work to figure out where we can afford to do what we can afford to do.
and this is why I don't mean to be a thorn in everybody's side and show up as adversarial or trying to be a, you know, just a real putz.
Oh, gee, woof, that's good to hear.
Yeah. But in my mind, it's a complicated math story problem. It is not an easy math story problem to solve at all. No, not at all. It's a lot of work.
On this point, at our next meeting, we are gonna hear from Reedy. We're gonna kind of start the budget discussion process and like really dig in, right? Like, I mean, I think it's about time, you know?
Yeah, we need to get
But
started.
we need WIS as well at the table.
Right, yeah. So it's, yeah, and I, you know, personally, I'm just trying to advocate that, you know, to me, the big, hairy, audacious goal, the BHAG, is this labor cost issue and this factor evaluation system, you know? And, you know, the rest, we can do our 3-day, you know, interview everybody, but this is the big one, and and so, anyway, it's concerns me, that's all.
Anything else from anybody?
Nope.
Okay, so what we're looking at then, our special work session, our next work session, every day that is.
Special session.
No, it's a work session. It's not special.
All right, I think Susan Beavers is on the line,
There's a technical term, there's a functional term.
and Susan, yeah, we're gonna use language, let's make sure we're using the right language.
Our morning council meeting. on
Susan
the
Beavers,
7th of May.
we have a special session the first Thursday of every month at 9 to 12, and then we have our regular session, which is the third Monday of every month at 5:30.
On May 7th, Reedy will be here in the morning.
During our special session.
Whatever you call it.
Yes. Okay.
Can we just call it a special session?
Yes,
Just be done
it's
with it.
confusing.
Oh, I
It
don't
is
have-
confusing.
Yeah,
We need it.
I'm good on the 14th, 15th, 16th, as long as it's in the evening, but if we get closer, I may free up during the day.
Yeah, Scott, I don't think if we look the past as any indication of the future, this requires Julie to try to get all those Form 1s in, and she's not gonna get them in on time, and then how in the world is she gonna be able to take that, and then she's gotta get all that information to Reedy, right? And I think it's completely unrealistic, and it probably ought to be in August, is really to give yourself enough headroom in there to get it done. I think that it's pushing
Be a
it.
weekend project.
Yeah, but let's not do that. There's no reason, but, you know, because furthermore, the budget it has to be passed in the third Monday in October, right? That's when the budget's gotta be passed.
So let's put it as a target and shoot for it and see if we get there. We'll probably shoot targets
No,
if we
this
have
is
to.
good.
Let's target August now and just be done with it, because that should give you enough time in August, should it not?
Well, Jim, how about this?
Historically, when we held the budget here.
It was in August.
It was in
It's in
August,
August.
so August is not out of the.
No, well, okay, so they gotta submit in July. We do the 3-day, you know, I like to call it dog and pony show.
I was gonna say that.
In August, all right? So then we go through that process, then that gives us September, right? And then it gives us kind of the month of October, because we've got to pass the budget in that, you know, the regular meeting in October. Because it has to be approved by November 1st, because you have to submit the Form 4 in November 1st.
What about this idea? we have, by July 1, we'll have those Form 1 budgets in our hands.
That's your assumption.
As a council,
Yeah.
let's assume that.
Well, no. The auditor gets it July 1.
Well, but, I mean, she's our record keeper.
And your assumption is that the departments will get them into it. That's not true.
Can you all check your calendars for the 11th, 12th, and 13th of August?
Looks good to me.
So just continuing that thought, I mean, if we have the budgets in our hands, I mean, why couldn't we, I mean, for example, I don't know if we want to start with the big ones like Brad and Highway and go through changes at these July meetings. We can make up some ground. If we just wait 30 days, we're kind of losing time. So, I mean, there could be a chance for us to take, maybe it's the small departments like Parks and Rec and, Recorder's Office, and we have them come before us with the Form 1s. We say, hey, have you had any changes at all? And if so, what are they? And we kind of burn through them. We kind of get moving. I'm trying to get ahead of this because every year we get
The whole point of doing
behind.
these, so these people will know what's in their budget when they walk out of this room.
Well, I don't know that that's
You
realistic.
guys have had,
It is
for 2
realistic.
years, everybody's complained because they don't know what's in their budget because nobody's contacted them to let them know what's been gone, what's not gone.
Wait a second. You're saying we have in the past approved a budget same day?
No, we have gone through, on the budget hearings, we have gone through with the department head sitting right here and saying, we need, this is the budget number we need to get to, based on the Form 1s, this is the budget that has been submitted. We need to trim down the submitted budget to fit in with the numbers that we have. And so what we've done is we've established that target, we've gone over with the department heads what we can cut, and as we get closer to that number.
One of the good things about it is I will send you the Form 1s when I get them in. You guys will all have the
That's
Form
what I'm
1s,
saying.
so
We don't
you'll be
wait
able
30
to actually
days,
go over
right?
them.
Yeah.
Yeah, Scott, we do, because we need to give Julie some headroom to get her all the stuff that she has to do. Trying to cram this in July is it's unrealistic. Okay, and furthermore, let me say this, and I'm pulling from memory. Well, matter of fact, I won't bring it up because it's just not a good thing to bring it up. No, but I would, okay. But furthermore, you all should have copies of the 2026 Form 1s. Julie, didn't you give all the 2026 Form 1s to every council member? Okay, so, what I am going to do personally, you all can do what you want. I'm going to go back through every department's Form 1 of 2026. And then when you send me the 2027 Form 1, I'm going to look at the comparison between those. Because matter of fact, I have the 2025 Form 1s. All right? And furthermore, what I'm going to look at this year and do a little different than what I did last year is that, some of these line items, I want to understand how we arrived at that number. So for example, I know for a fact there's a line item in the commissioner's budget for $600,000 for insurance. Well, my question is, how did we arrive at $600,000? I'd like to have a detailed breakdown of every policy and what the policy dates are and the annual premium for those policy to know specifically how you arrived at that number, because $600,000 is a lot of money.
All right, on that point.
Okay, Scott?
On that point, when department heads submit their budgets, I think, and maybe this goes in your letter, and this is really good, by the way, I like what you did. I would suggest we add all supporting documentation for new expenses be included in their submission, kind of as an attachment. So to Jim's point, here's what's going to happen if we don't get that. We're going to sit on those for 30 days. We're going to get to that 5-minute meeting with the department head, and guess what? We're not going to have the information. Still, we're going to have to wait another 2 weeks, and then we are once again going to be late, and we're going to be pushing Julie's office to the brink, as we have. I'm not even going to try to get started on this. We've got to start getting ahead of this, council. We cannot sit on this for 30 days and do nothing. Jim and I could come up with these comparisons, 24, 25, 26, like, I mean, it's not for like 3 departments. I mean, let's just chip away at least something in 30 days. Let's not wait on the whole thing. Let's pick a few strategically that we think we can manage. Hey, we got a couple issues in the coroner's office, a couple things at Parks and Rec, a couple things here, and let's kind of start chipping away at those. especially the items we think we're gonna have questions on, and it gives department heads time to talk to us about it. We can kind of hear from them, we can ask for some changes, and then in August, for those, maybe those problematic ones, we may have better data and actually be able to kind of follow through with that timeline. I just don't like waiting forever. I don't think we should.
All right, go ahead.
Quick question, are we gonna have the notebooks that has the last year's budget, so much spent 3 years prior?
Yeah, we're gonna have the last 3 years, the last year's budget, the last year's actual, or 2024.
Actual today.
2024 budgeted and actual.
Okay, wait a minute, is Reedy doing anything? Did we fire Reedy, or are they not involved, or what are they doing?
No, they're involved.
Okay.
They're gonna be here, they're gonna be here.
Okay, because
They're gonna
last
be here
year,
May 7th.
they gave us
Special
this,
session.
and you guys all got copies of this, we had several versions of these, right, which is what we need to be going off of. So is Reedy gonna be doing this, Julie, are you gonna be sending the Form 1s to Reedy?
I can.
You hadn't planned on it?
I had not planned on it, no, but I
Okay,
will.
okay, well, all right, you guys, all right, do whatever you want.
Well, the question on that is, if you do that and they do that, are we paying for a redundant thing when you could just do that and then send them your numbers?
You're not doing that.
Is Ed gonna be
I don't
involved?
do that kind of a,
Is Ed gonna be involved in that process, do we know yet?
Ed,
Edward Ely?
I do not know that.
Okay, well, because he's somewhat of a Reedy light at this point.
I don't think he's going to be in this process, to be honest with you.
Okay,
And typically, we don't tell department heads because we don't know what percentage or any raise that they're gonna get. Again, we have to have those discussions
Yeah.
with, but typically, we don't tell them when we do our interviews with them about.
It's out of it, so.
I know, but I'm just saying typically, that's not what we do during the budget
Okay, now,
raise
look,
part.
how's this for a suggestion?
Until we do those cuts.
I think some will be zero increase.
The last week of July, the last week of July, 28th, 29th, and the 30th. Julie, will that give you enough time to work through the Form 1s and get numbers together?
If they get them to me on time, it will. If they don't, it won't.
Okay, and to your point, Scott, what we'll do is we'll start with the smaller departments, you know, the recorders, an easy department because they fund with their perpetuation fund. We'll do the smaller departments, work our way up to the biggest departments. What we generally do is the highway, the commissioners on the last day. So we do the shoot for the 28th, 29th, and 30th of July. What that does is sets up our budget hearing before our August 6th special work session on our first Thursday.
Do you want me to send the Form 1s to Reedy so they can create the book?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Without
Okay.
question.
Yes.
Okay, I'm good.
Do we
with
have
20.
a council consensus on that? Is everybody good?
If
I'm
you
good with
add requiring the departments to include supporting data for any changes, then I'm good with it.
Okay. Yeah, and what that does is if there is an issue with those 3 days, that puts us really close to our first Thursday work session in August, where we could bring department heads in for further questioning if anybody wants to, because that is a daytime meeting. Now, for the time, for the 28th, 29th, and 30th, I think they should be daytime meetings.
I can't because guarantee I'll be available during the day on those days.
Well, that's why I wanted to do it before, later in August, because July, this is still summer.
Yeah.
Is that gonna be,
It's probably gonna be an issue for me.
if we start at noon?
Yeah.
Family issues or? Well, I mean,
I guess I'm the only one that like works on this, I mean, for council, but, I mean, that sounds, somebody's gotta,
you have a set schedule every day.
during the day, I can be flexible, but not for this kind, I can't take like all afternoon, so. But usually we do these in the evenings anyway.
No, we have, but it works out better.
because they're at work.
Yeah, because everybody's here.
No.
I mean, is it a hard no on a daytime?
And it's possible that I could be there, but not likely. So.
If you have this much, if you have this much
Yeah.
time ahead?
Okay, all right.
Might not have.
What are the dates again? July what?
28th, 29th, and 30th.
All right. 28th, 29th, and 30th. Gary Hewitt, can you be here during the day?
Yes,
All right, you won't be out on the lake water skiing?
probably.
Judy, will you be able to be here for the day?
Yep.
Darren, will you be able to be here for the day?
Yes.
Joel, Jim, Joel, I'm assuming he will be able to. All right, so let's do them during the day. What'd you say, what are the dates?
28th,
28th, 29th, and 30th.
Okay, and Scott, you show up when you can.
Yeah, just note my objection to that in the minutes, if you would.
Yeah, well, you can object, but you got 7
Yeah.
people and you're 1 out of 7, so, sorry.
Yeah.
We can't, try to bend everything to accommodate. I appreciate you gotta work, and it is what it is.
Somebody's gotta
So,
work for a living.
Is
Yeah.
Well, I do too, but I'm giving.
Scott, if you made the decision to run to be a council member, and if you're.
But you heard my objection.
Okay, so noted, so, all right, so I
Listen
would,
to you, Scott.
I'll make a motion that we adopt those dates and for the time being, okay?
Second.
All right.
And we got a second, and then Julie,
Yes.
okay? I tell you what, if the departments can't submit their, the department heads have to submit their Form 1s every year on July 1st. And if they can't get them in by July 1st, fine, we'll just adopt what you did in 2026,
Absolutely.
period. If you can't get them in, that's your problem. All right, sorry, that's a boundary, don't cross it, get them in. There's no reason whatsoever why these people can't get their Form 1 submitted to the auditor's office on or before July 1.
You gonna put that in bold at the bottom of this letter?
Yes.
Serious? I'm serious.
Put it in paper.
Yes.
And if they don't submit it, then we're free to make any adjustments that we need to.
Well, we have that discretion regardless.
Yeah. Okay, 28th, 29th, and 30th. Now, Scott, a question for you on time.
At the bottom of the
If we-
bold, put the thing, just one more thing, and don't even think about COLA if you don't get it in.
Is your work schedule more morning heavy or morning after?
It's all day, but, to do 3 days all day during the days, that's the problem. That's like taking more than a half a week off for me, so
Right.
it's just a lot.
I've got the same thing, being
Yeah.
self-employed, I'm giving up 3 days of
Yeah.
work too.
So, and usually we do it in the evenings, so That's just me.
Evenings, if we drag on, that's an issue, it becomes later, the later in the day we go, the more frustrated we seem to get.
But if we do, hey guys,
Go to bed by midnight.
if we do anything past the time of 4 o'clock, don't we have to pay the people that come in?
We don't have to
Julie,
pay.
do we have to pay the people that come in overtime or comp time or flex time?
No, department
They're
heads.
department heads, so they get it, they're like.
Well, the department head brings in an employee in the department,
I mean, we've been doing this.
You have to pay the employee, but
Yeah,
not the
it's
department
illegal.
heads.
so we end up costing the county money and labor costs.
It depends on whether they're over 40 hours and they're exempt
Yeah.
and that whole thing.
It's usually, yeah.
Okay, the next question, do we want to start, as part of that, do we want to start these at 10 o'clock? Do we want to start them at noon? Do we want to start them at 2 in the
9.
afternoon?
You're gonna do them in the morning, you're gonna start them at 9.
Sounds
We
good.
can start them at 10.
9 o'clock.
9 o'clock.
9 o'clock.
So we start at 9?
9 to noon?
Do we want to shoot 9 to noon?
You get 26 departments, how are you gonna get through 26
We get
departments?
anything done at noon.
Generally, when we've done it at night, it's been 4 or 5 hours for each one, and then 3, so let's set up 9 to 2, 9 to 3.
9 to 4.
9 to 4.
Okay, 9 to 4.
3 days, 9 to 4?
We're not gonna go till
So
4.
I don't think you'll do
They won't have to.
for 3 days.
There's some days we're not gonna go to 4.
Yeah.
Not if we hold our president, too timely.
8, 9 at night, probably.
Not me, believe
I
me.
don't see that happening.
I don't either at this point, unfortunately.
Okay, we got a motion and a second.
Okay, Jim, as part of your motion, you want to amend it to include from 9 to 4.
Yeah, 9 to 4 sounds good.
Okay, 9 to 4, 28, 29, 30. Motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Roll call.
Yes.
Darren,
Yes.
Judy,
Yes.
Scott,
No.
sorry, Gary,
Yes.
Patrick,
Yes.
Jim,
Yeah.
thank you.
Okay, we have, Brad has shown up. You are on the agenda because I put you on there in case you were here to discuss what you were, because I noticed after I initially put you on the agenda, then I noticed it was for next month. But I didn't know if you were going to be here to introduce what you wanted.
We
to
said
do
sooner
next month.
if possible, but nobody told me.
Well, that's why I didn't tell you,
He's
because,
just here to have you talk about it.
So am I up?
yes.
Okay. First of all, Brad Stockfield. Sheriff, excuse me for my appearance, but I was helping my bonus son move into his apartment. So I'm a little dirty, sweaty and whatever, but a couple of things I need to talk to you about. Our tasers are like way past their time frame. Axon wants an astronomical amount of money to do a contract, a 5-year contract. We found another company that does refurbished tasers that we can buy, the Taser 7s. Of course, Axon's trying to push their brand new Taser 10. They don't even want to sell you. You cannot just go buy them. You have to do a contract now with them. So this company, we can buy refurbished ones. They're Taser 7s, which is what we wanted anyway. I'm just requesting to be able to use commissary money for that because it's probably going to be in the price tag 12 to 14,000 by the time we get the tasers, the cartridges, some extra batteries, and Jim.
Why do we need tasers when you got handguns?
Well, occasionally we have to use less lethal. So
I'm very familiar with commissary money, as you know. It's governed by the law. It's his commissary money. He's the sheriff. He knows what's needed. I don't even see where this is an issue. The money can be used for that purpose, as well as the vehicle too. It can be used for that
It's
purpose.
just the fact that State Board of Accounts wants us to have the approval of the council on certain things like that, so
Right.
that's why.
I don't see why we wouldn't prove that. I don't see why we would have to dicker about that for 2 days or 3
Okay.
days.
You got enough money to buy them?
Absolutely.
There you
I'll
go.
make a motion that we approve Brad's.
I second.
Yeah.
Okay,
That was commissary.
that's the first one. The second one
Hold
was
on.
Okay.
What do you want a motion for? Like,
just to approve the funds. I think it's
You use a commissary money.
use the commissary funds to buy the tasers. It's going to be a minimum of 12,000, maybe to 14 or 15,000.
oh,
But our guys need them, and I got to put some in the jail, and I'll outfit the road guys with everything.
so the approval just of whatever it costs is good enough. Julie,
Before
for
that, he had a couple other points to talk about.
I just want to make sure we get the amount you need, if you need an amount.
Right. So
State
the
Board
other
of
thing is I don't want to throw Jim under the bus, but Jim, that's where we talked about. You guys approved for 50,000 for the coroner's vehicle. Well, I have a vehicle. I don't know. I mean, I'm okay with if you guys buy the coroner a new vehicle, that's fine. Good for them.
Actually, we did not approve that. We
Okay.
struck that from it because of what you're about to talk about.
Okay, so I'm down a vehicle for sure right now. I could use 2. I've got 10 on them for sale right now, but a couple of them's like the ones that come from the county highway and the ones that went to the courthouse that we're getting back and selling. We're not gonna get much out of them. The total vehicle, we've had to put some of the money in that, so I can swap out and get a jail vehicle, and I can use my misdemeanor funds for whatever left to purchase a nice jail vehicle and give the one that we're using right now, my jail commander's using right now, to the coroner's office to be outfitted for a vehicle if that's, but before I can give them that vehicle, I need to get one purchased. So that's where I'm at with that.
And that was our point, that we don't need to buy a brand new vehicle for the coroner. Sheriff's Department needs the brand new vehicle.
Yes, and then once we get all these other vehicles sold, and get that money, and then the money left from the one total vehicle, I'm gonna try to, and then if I have to use some out of commissary, I'm gonna piece some parts together to buy another road patrol vehicle, if that's okay with you guys. to get that, so where we are caught up to where we need to be on our vehicles. And we are getting a lot cleaned out.
It's in your budget?
You can't approve
Necessary
that.
otherwise?
You can't approve the vehicle yet.
No, we'll need to do an additional appropriation.
And I have to put it in the paper.
And we'll have to put it in the paper,
Yeah.
but what we can do is give them kind of a verbal,
Yes, you
can
can.
we? Give you a
Yeah,
verbal.
and if
Because
I
sent out an
because I'll
email-
have to order the vehicle and it takes a minute.
I sent an email out to you and all the commissioners and all the council members. You all received that email I sent out, did you not? Okay, because I put in the estimated MSRP for both the Ford Explorer and then what is it, the Dodge Durango?
Durango.
Yeah, the Durango, right.
Okay.
Which I think that Durango's.
That also makes it, so thank you for that. If we can get that, once I know that I get to go ahead to order the vehicle, that's all I need because it will take us probably at least a month or so to get it in.
And that'll give us time to do the additional appropriation, do the ordinance and all that stuff, yeah. Approximately, is it 55 grand, is that what you're gonna need?
Yeah, because it's not going to be outfitted with all the other stuff that I put on a road vehicle. So
Yeah, because how much does that cost?
a road vehicle cost me $62,000 to be fully outfitted.
Oh, okay. But all the electronics that go in it, how much?
Yes.
Is that?
Now,
12 grand?
that's our radios that we already have,
Okay.
so.
It's got the
but
lights and the
that's-
bar and all that
Yes,
stuff, right?
yeah, yeah.
Okay, okay.
So, but
And I
then,
did go online today and pulled up a 2017 Ford Explorer, because that Ford Explorer that you're gonna give to the coroner's office is a four-door, right?
yes,
It doesn't have the third seat in the back.
no,
Okay, 7 feet.
yeah,
If you put the seats down, it's 7 feet.
so we're good as long as
We
Larry
should be
Bird
good.
doesn't die in this county.
That's right. We'll have to phone you over.
Why don't you just
Sorry,
take the
Larry.
seats out in the back?
Third seat's out
I would take the seats.
Yeah,
out.
we can, I mean,
We can modify.
that, again, I think it was a brilliant idea. I just don't want the soon-to-be coroner mad at me because I
Blame me.
pulled a blanket out from under his feet, so.
It's Jim's fault.
It's my fault.
Anyway, there's another thing I just want to bring to your attention. I had another officer resign today, so I'm going to be down, come July, I'll be down 4. This was a situation that let's just say it was needed. And it was here's your options.
That's fine. That's
So,
fine.
You're good. You're not-
So Brad, you're down, well, you're down 4, but you added 3.
I'm down today, I went down 3, but I've got a jailer that I'm hiring. I have 2 people waiting to fill the jail spots. So I will have to start a new hiring process, which we just posted online today, to finish in the end of June, my merit board meeting, to finish that one. We're going to cycle applications till May 30th. Then do our testing and everything and have that done and ready to go to the merit board by June 24th, which then Dame's, I think his last day here is 1st of July-ish. July 9th is when he starts in Johnson County, so I don't know what his end date is, but hoping to have somebody then lined up and ready to go. But that will put me, unless I luck out and get a transfer from somewhere else, that will put me having 4 to go to the academy. I got one leaving next Monday or May the 4th to the academy, and I will have 2 going in August for sure. And then just depends on where we are. Most likely you'll probably be seeing me in uniform and stuff on the weekends because we're that short.
How
So
long is the academy now?
16 weeks. And my FTO program is 3 months. So you're basically 7 months where they're not out on the road by themselves.
Is that 16 consecutive weeks?
Yes.
Do you happen to know how much the tasers are gonna be?
That's 4 months. I'm waiting for 10.
12 to 14.
Yeah. That's why I brought that.
I'm gonna ask
So Susan, are you still on the line?
Yeah.
They can't just hire them.
I'm still here.
I got a question about the commissary, because I know,
I've probably got the same question.
I know there's a lot of, there are very strict State Board of Accounts rules for how we utilize those funds, and I think Brad and the council would really appreciate you just laser focusing on that, making sure we get that right. Is there anything we need to know about an approval for commissary funds that we should do tonight?
I
And
mean,
are we Are we able to approve that tonight, or do we need
For the
do we need
tasers.
advertising?
For the
For
tasers?
the
For the
tasers, yeah, for the tasers, I do think that you can go ahead and approve that tonight. The commissary is just very controlled and it actually, it's controlled by the ordinance that you passed in Brown County. So, but typically commissary is used for training, for equipment for both jail officers and merit officers, uniforms for those things, as well as vehicles. All of those things are typical commissary expenses in addition to running the commissary itself. So that none of that is out of line in any way. And the tasers can go ahead and be approved tonight. The vehicle is a little more involved because obviously you have to take that as well to the commissioners.
And then, so it sounds like you actually have reviewed our Brown County ordinance, is that what I'm hearing?
I believe I have. I think I have it in my file, maybe from 24. So that is going off of memory. I'm going to admit to that. That's just going off of memory right now.
Are you comfortable with that, with advising us to move forward with that, or do you want a minute to review that?
Yeah, no, none of that is outside the scope of what commissary is typically used for. There should not be an issue or a red flag that comes up with State Board of Accounts on these expenditures.
Great, thank
Okay,
you.
so we are able to go ahead and make a motion to approve up to $14,000 of commissary money for,
I go 15 just to be safe.
okay, up to $15,000 in commissary money for the purchase of new refurbished tasers.
I make that motion.
I already made the motion.
You already made it in a second.
Okay.
Just
Yeah,
need a
motion has
second.
been made and seconded.
Up to
I'm just,
15.
I'm checking for
Patrick
legal
second
purposes that we are able to do that and get Brad going on that.
Okay,
Yes.
I'll call it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve. Now, the motion was, you want to amend your motion for up to $15,000?
Okay, I'll amend my motion, Brad, up to $35 million.
If I had to add my commissary, I'd fix everything.
Up to $15,000 on taser lasers, okay, out of the commissary fund.
Okay. Second.
Patrick, you a second it?
Yes. Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Roll call.
Darren,
Yes.
Judy,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Gary,
Yes.
Patrick,
Yes.
and Jim.
Yes.
President,
Thank
I
you.
got a follow-up question.
Jim, if you want to volunteer to be a probe dummy.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We never did get that done, did we?
Do you know I'd have a heart attack? Then
You want to get,
He needs to get the juice.
I want to, hey, I'll be a fundraiser.
And then Susan, what we're going to need for our next.
Taser council.
We're going to do this at our next regular meeting or work session?
Yeah.
Our next regular meeting,
Yeah, they turn it-
because that was when you had requested
You have,
anyway.
we have to have
Yeah.
time
We'll
to
try
do
to
it.
get a shot.
Okay.
Our regular.
I can-
Maybe.
I can make some calls and get you an exact number and we can look to see what we've got. Like, our other vehicles should be sold by then, so I can have a better idea of where we need to be on the other vehicle, and then I can have you some prices lined out.
Okay, and then, hold on, Jim, and then get those numbers to Julie. And Susan, if we could be ready to get that ordinance for our regular May council meeting to get Brad approved for the purchase of his new vehicle.
Okay, I have an administrative question. Commissioners legally own all the vehicles,
Yes,
correct?
yes.
Okay, so it's actually, the money needs to be allocated in the commissioner's budget,
Correct.
correct?
Yes.
Because the commissioners will actually cut the check and pay for the vehicle.
Yes.
So what we really need is, we're giving you a verbal, right?
Mhm.
But the commissioners need to draft the commissioners need to, well, we need an ordinance. Susan, you there?
I'm still here.
Susan, are you there?
So,
Okay.
yeah,
So
so I,
Susan, wouldn't you draft an ordinance for the council that we appropriate the money, this additional appropriation into the commissioner's budget? So that they
So-
can then pay for the police car from Salem?
yeah, I think it depends on where the sheriff wants to pay for this from, right? So there is money that's going to drop back into a fund based upon the sale of these vehicles and I think what he was
No, I
saying,
get
he
it.
got some insurance from a total vehicle. So wherever that money drops, that has to be appropriated from that same spot. And then he's going to
Right, the money's
supplement
gonna
with,
drop, is the money gonna drop into a fund? It's gonna drop in a fund, but then there has to be a line item to cover that vehicle.
right, so lots of times, it may drop into general miscellaneous as the income line where that goes. So then we have to appropriate something out of general fund. And then I think what the sheriff was saying is that he would pay the remainder out of commissary. And I thought the jail vehicle, correct me if I'm wrong, he was thinking about the county misdemeanor fund. Did I hear that correctly?
Yes.
Yeah, so there's an additional appropriation out of county misdemeanor fund that would need to occur as well. So there's potentially an additional appropriation out of the general fund and out of the county misdemeanor fund, with the sheriff supplementing out of commissary for the remainder of some purchase for the road vehicle, I think.
Okay, so basically Brad, Julie, somebody in the commissioner's office, they need to tell you, Susan, what we're gonna do, and then you need to draft an ordinance, correct?
Yes, yep, absolutely. So I
Okay.
think between
Okay, great, great. We can
Teresa-
sit on the weeds tonight.
If the money goes back into the general fund and the miscellaneous.
Yeah, well, that's for you guys to handle it. I mean, I don't, yeah, that's for you guys to figure, you guys can figure that out, right? Right. And then as far as the timing, Brad, how soon do you need the money to pay for the right to check for the vehicle?
I mean, the sooner I can order them, the better. I just need to know that, I mean,
Yeah, but you can go, you've
I
done
won't
that,
pay for them until
they come in.
we go get it.
Yeah, right, right, right. Yeah, it's that one.
This last one, what they did is I e-sign everything. I go down there when I pick up the vehicle, they give me all the paperwork.
Yeah.
And I get that to the auditor's office, and they cut the check, and then I get the certificate of title back, so then we can then plate it and get it.
Okay, so you should be able to coordinate that with Julie, Commissioner's office, and with Susan, and then once Susan's got the ordinance passed, she coordinates with Darren, and they get the ordinance before us, and we pass the thing, and it's done, and you get your money and pay for it.
Right.
Okay.
And you said some of the money you're gonna be using is insurance from a total vehicle?
Yes.
Okay.
We're slowly getting back where we need to be on our vehicles. Just need to be on our people. Anything else?
Yeah, on budget. So fast forward to July and your budget submission, you know, you just talked about how we lose officers on the streets for 7 months when they go to get their certification.
Yes.
We're paying them full time. That officer's not in the county. We are really spending a lot of money to train folks if they're not certified. And so as I look at the counties adjacent to us and their hiring notices, what I'm noticing is I'll just say it, they're out competing us, not just in pay. And this is where I want to, Susan, I got a question for you here, and probably for our HR folks. What I'm seeing our adjacent counties do to outcompete us is they are including kind of some creative, really not that creative, but we're not being that creative. They're including things like the ability to transfer vacation time, rather than coming in as if they have zero experience and they gotta wait a year to get vacation. They're allowing these officers, these high demand officers, to bring their vacation over in terms of how many vacation weeks they get per year, not their residual stuff that they get paid out for. But so, you know, you've got an experienced officer, they can bring over that time commitment and benefit. And then they're doing a lot of other things, okay? And so, Susan, I guess my question to you is, you know, is there a way for us for a high demand position like officers? I mean, obviously there's a way, because every other county that's around us is doing this. The question is, how can we do this? And do you have any advice for Brad so he can bring something like this to our budget? It's almost not even a budget impact question, but Susan, do you have any advice on this? Because we need to kind of start competing, I
Are you
think.
talking about lateral transfers?
It's kind of lateral transfer, but you can bring your benefits with you.
Well, it'd be
And your
part of a lateral
experience.
transfer,
and-
correct?
Yeah.
Kind of, yeah.
But I
that
don't
would
have
be
a big enough
negotiable,
salary
wouldn't
to
it? I
bring in
mean,
laterals.
that would be, decided by him.
No, it's not a salary question, it's a benefit question. and
Well,
what they can put over
but it
into
is a
other-
salary question as well.
That too, okay,
Yeah.
okay, so.
100%.
If they're competing on that, so, but that's the question, Susan, and I don't know if Jackson's doing that as well, but any thoughts on that, so we can start to compete, because that's, if we could compete, as an example, we get one officer out of those 3 that actually is certified, we secure 7 additional months of public safety officer on our streets, and save the tens of thousands of dollars in training, so it's very important. Susan, go ahead.
Yeah, so that is absolutely an HR question, right? And so that's the purview of the commissioners. If they want to try to make that as an offer and work with the sheriff to do that, that is up to them. I think in order to do that, right? So if you do a lateral transfer and you bring in somebody who has 15 years of experience, who already has 5 weeks of vacation at whatever department they are at, right? That is a bit of a fiscal hit to you as well, right? Because now you're allowing somebody to take 5 weeks of vacation right away. And so, it is a little bit of a fiscal hit. You have to do a little bit of a study to determine what's the fiscal impact to the sheriff's budget if he does allow that. And there's also the question of, do we bring in a 15-year person and allow them to go into the 15-year salary or 15 years of longevity here, right? I mean, that's where you
My
guys are.
officers don't have longevity.
Okay, yeah.
And we
Okay.
don't have a matrix, so that's another part of the problem.
Question, what is, to see, determine savings, what does it cost to send someone to the academy? And when you're giving me this number, does that also include their wage during that time for
They're
2
charging
separate?
$5,000 right now to go to
Say it
the
again.
academy. I think it's $5,000 what they're charging to the academy right now,
Okay,
plus wages.
okay.
And wages include retirement, healthcare, taxes, the whole 9, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's 4 months of wages.
Brad, at one time, and I've slept since then, I think you said maybe to bring a new person in, send them through the academy. Everything that you would need done was about 100, equipment, everything's like $160,000.
For a year, for the first year, yeah. We're puking money by what we're doing. I mean, it's not a joke. I'm not trying to, we are literally losing money year after year after year. And we're losing people to other counties, and they are making money because they are taking our trained officers. And, when at the breakfast for you guys that were there, yeah, I'm upset. I'm tired of this game, and this is something that I want to fix. And I've talked to Jim about it, and one of the things that I'm proposing for right now to try to, I mean, 500,000 would fix my issue right now in one fell swoop. However, you'd have to keep up with that. I know that the council probably cannot do that. So what I'm trying to ask for is, and I'm having issues in dispatch, I'm having issues in jail, keeping people. I'm down 2 dispatchers right now. I just hired one, but it takes a long time to train a dispatcher.
But in part of the problem, just for edification, in part of that problem, that these other counties that can afford to pay
Yeah.
have the same issues as you're having, but they can afford to do it, we cannot.
Right, and the problem too is like the surrounding counties, they, I talk to the sheriffs there all the time. They're a much larger county than us that has, they are losing people as well here and there, but the impact on them is not the impact that it is on us. When you have a total of a 16-man department and you go down 4 in 1 year, that percentage.
You're down 25%.
Yes, that percentage hurts a lot. You go down 4 in Bartholomew County where they have 40-some officers, that's a different scenario. And it's affecting our public safety, and it's affecting what we can do for this community. And it truly is. And then it keeps putting us down. Like, none of my road officers now, none of them have 10 years on.
See, that's why for me. And
I've got 7 years and less, and most of them, I think 6 of them now have 3 years or less.
See, for me, part of the innkeeper's tax, I know it's not a popular thing. I don't see why it couldn't be used for this, but others disagree with that. But I think it should be. That's just
one of the things that I think could start me on the right track, and I just wanted to kind of throw this out. I don't know the full numbers, But I would like to see a $5,000 across the board for everyone in my office with a guarantee of 5% the next 3 years. And I think that that would help stop this bleed. And if we could get it down to where I'm only losing one every 2 years on the road, that would start to fix our problem. You guys can mull that over, look at the numbers. I just want to throw that out there. I know that there's benefits on top of that. It costs a little more, but
You realize that probably, I'm sure you realize that's probably not realistic, but I get.
I think it is.
understand.
I think it is.
If we could get money from other
What
sources.
that amount
Yeah,
will pay twofolds in 5 years. That amount will save us a lot of heartache and headache. And here's the thing too, is what.
Retention eliminates a lot of problems that we have.
And so the younger my department is out there serving the public, the more apt I am to have lawsuits, to have other issues. It's just, we just don't have the experience.
right.
And I'm having young officers train young officers.
Right.
And so I don't have experience out there training people. And it's becoming a serious issue. And I don't see why that's not realistic.
Well, the fact the county doesn't have the money, that's the problem.
Well,
We gotta come up with some.
And we're just gonna keep losing money because the way we're doing it, we're losing more and more every year.
Like I say, that's why I'm for getting behind using the innkeeper's tax for some of that, but there again, that's a
not gonna
fighting
fix
battle.
it. Patrick, there's a fight there that we're not gonna win.
We
Maybe.
can't do that, the state won't let us.
Yeah.
Well, according to what I understand from the lawyer here, Susan, that we could do that, could we not, Susan?
So I think that broadly speaking, you have to use it for tourism related things. And if that means very broadly using some of it to pay for, maybe it's special events that have to happen for law enforcement. I don't think you can absorb the salary of law enforcement by the innkeeper's tax, if that makes sense.
There are some things, go ahead, excuse me, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I just don't think there's a hard number on that to use year after year after year either. That could cause serious issues down the road.
There are some issues, some things such as parks and fairgrounds that may be diverted into another innkeeper's tax budget that may free up money towards you. That's the hope.
But again, that's not going to be a hard line number
No.
every year, year after year. And that could really bite the county in the, you know what, and if it doesn't.
Well, Brad, I know you probably weren't prepared to speak about that. I didn't want to open a can of worms, but I did kind of want to peek into the can of worms because we've got to get this ball rolling. You've been coming to us, I don't know,
My whole career.
a long time trying to help resolve this. And I do think there's no silver bullet here. It is not just pay. I think it's the transferring of time. I think it's the transferring of experience and kind of benefits.
Yeah.
And pay, yes.
We also
I think we got to do many things.
We need to set a matrix as well.
Yeah, matrix. We can't bring every officer in at the same, whether they have 0 experience or 20 years. You know, we've got to do several things and we need to start competing. If you're going to say one thing we need to do, we've got to start competing on the same level.
One of the things that I know that when we did the raise from the prosecutor's office that they took away, you know, my officers right now are the only ones that don't get longevity in the county, and me included in that. So that's something you could throw back in, throw in some of the raises. I don't know, start
Jim has some
somewhere.
input on this too.
Yeah, Jim and I are gonna talk, we're talking. But the thing of it is like, I think that and I'm not trying to be mean, Patrick, but that's just,
I know, but.
you know, I mean, to just write
like-
things off like that and say, we can't do that, that's what we've been told all along, and that's why we're where we are.
Yeah.
Because we haven't sat down and truly
No,
figured
I
out.
totally understand the budgeting process, but Jim had some input on this if people listen, what he found out about just what I was talking about. If I can get him to talk, which I can't believe he won't.
Are you sure you want to do that?
Speaking of can of worms.
Good Lord.
Say it, Jim. Bring it on.
Oh, boy.
How much time does he have as
9 o'clock,
president?
here we go.
Yeah, I'll be as brief as I possibly can. First of all, we got a $500,000 problem. We've got to find $500,000 approximately for the law enforcement center. And I'm not so certain that will be a cure-all. Number two, and I'm going to stay on record on this, is, and I can back this up, so everything I'm saying is not anecdotal, it is not subjective, it is not superficial. I actually have the fact pattern to support it. We don't have a revenue problem in this county. What we have is an expense problem. And the reality is this, is that we as a council, sorry, but we're going to have to determine what we prioritize. And we either prioritize the law enforcement or we don't.
Right.
And, my concern with law enforcement as a community member and a taxpayer is I do not, I have a real issue with having 17 road deputies that maybe might have a combined experience of Lord knows how many years. The other issue we got is I don't know how many of the 17, the 17 deputies that we have that actually reside in the county. And for me, what's important is if we're going to have law enforcement officers that are here to serve and protect, I'd really like for those people to live in the county, be able to afford to live in the county, be a part of the community. Now we know we've got the turnover, we've got, brand new people out there that are coming out of these schools. You just said you're going to have 4 out of the 17 that are going to have to go through that 16-week training. Well, this is the reason I've been pushing for dash cams. We need dash cams in those cars to protect the county, because if I was a law enforcement officer and being 25 years old, I'm an adrenaline junkie and I would love to drive fast. And there wouldn't be anything better than get a 911 call and I get to throw the lights on and mash the pedal to the floor. It'd be like, oh boy, am I going to have fun. So we probably ought to have dash cams in those cars just to protect the county from a liability standpoint. With regards to the innkeeper's tax, that's a completely separate issue. First of all, let me say this. I had a conversation with the State Board of Accounts, and the State Board of Accounts, they do not have a written policy on what I'm going to refer to as prohibited transactions. Okay? They don't have, there's nothing from the State Board of Accounts that says that you cannot do this, you cannot do this, you cannot do this, number one. Number two, you get into the state statute. And I had a 90-minute phone call with Eric Cook, okay, on the statute. And the problem with the statute is the General Assembly, per Eric Cook, every of the 92 counties, everyone wants to have their own autonomy. And so they draft that legislation in a very generic, broad way. And it's very, very poorly written because it's basically one sentence that basically says something to the effect to, support, tourism and economic development. That's about it. So now, Patrick, you get into the question of how do you define tourism? What's important to tourism? And so we all can sit here and you can make a very easy argument that public safety and being able to have ambulance services, being able to have sheriff deputies who are trained to go to the state park. The challenge with the innkeeper's tax, though, and this is the reason I brought up several months ago about, and I don't think anything's happened, about the CDC board writing up governing documents and getting very crystal clear of how we as a county choose to define that legislation in the context of Brown County. Now, if we were to do that and define, create a governing document and be very crystal clear with the language of how we define that state statute, then the reality is, we can pretty much do what we want to, knowing that what's probably going to happen is the State Board of Accounts is going to push back. Well, that's fine, State Board of Accounts, you all can push back, but we're going to push back on you because they do not have any documented written language that speaks specifically to prohibitive transactions. So when we say that we're going to use innkeeper's tax to fund public safety, okay, show me the document from the State Board of Accounts that states that that's a prohibited transaction. They don't have it. And no one in of the 92 counties, I don't know that there's any counties that have really challenged that. And after 40 months, my perception is we walk around here and we let these agencies, these Indiana government agencies, pretty much do what they want, and then we just say, well, we can't do it, and then we let them kind of push, let them dictate what we can and cannot do, whereas what we ought to be doing is pushing back on them and saying enough is enough, right?
And I'm with you because they put in their quality of life. Okay, well,
Right.
how do you have quality of life if you don't have public safety? And that's across the board.
Thank you.
With fire department, EMS, and
Correct.
and police.
Correct.
But if they say, oh, no, that's not
Right.
quality of life we're talking
Right,
about.
right. So
But it sounds like a subjective interpretation by other people that
But
are
they-
making it just for personal.
Right, that's a battle, and an issue is whether or not we, as a county, and specifically county council, has the political will. Because this comes down to doing some things sometimes it's not that much fun, right?
Mhm.
And you better have the political will to stand up and say enough is enough, and I'm gonna push back. And if you don't have that political will, then you're never gonna be able to influence any positive change going forwards. Fair? I'm done.
Okay, I've got Judy has to leave
Yeah.
here by 7:30. Do we?
Right on me.
Council
Thank
plans?
you.
Thanks,
Yeah,
thank you,
Thank you
Sheriff.
very much, Brad. I was gonna continue. Do we want to continue with Judy leaving, or do we have other stuff that we need to?
I'm done now.
Anybody have anything else?
I think you're done.
Come on, Art.
Motion adjourned.
Thank you.
Second.
I'll see ya. Here we are.
All in favor?
Aye.
Finally, use the gavel. Jeez, it took us so long.